10.1, a notice of motion for the meeting of the Victor Harbour Community Action Group by Councillor Andrews. Would somebody like to move the recommendation that Council receive the report, please? Thank you, Councillor Andrews. Seconder. Councillor Charles, thank you. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Councillor Andrews, do you have a motion you wish to propose?
Yes, I am changing the wording on this original motion. As you will note, I sent the letter and put the motion in on the 11th of May. While I give the motion to have it drawn up. Right. Yes, our mayor is human, and sometimes it's hard to take criticism, especially when it's about a project that he cares passionately about. As elected members, we all put ourselves in a position where we have to rise above such reactions, just as I have and will chastise any of my fellow elected members for inappropriate behaviour if I believe it's warranted. I'm asked this chamber to support the motions that I have put forward. As the elected mayor, his actions are always open to scrutiny, and I welcome the fact that he apologised at the beginning of this meeting. However, it was extremely embarrassing to the councillors who were in attendance at that meeting, and I believe started any interaction between the Community Action Group and this council, possibly in a negative light, which I wish to remedy. I felt embarrassed enough myself to send an email to the organisers offering my personal apology for any distress caused. There may be, from this council's perspective, some mistrust of this fledgling organisation and vice versa. However, our community deserves the best from both organisations so that we can move forward in mutual cooperation. We have all agreed and disagreed on various issues over the last year, and will continue to do the same, I feel sure, over the coming months and indeed the rest of our term. That's the reason there are 9 members of the council, not just one, in our Westminster system of government. I note especially that most of the ill will that was directed towards the mayor was about his particular project, which he has seen through.
Point of order. I think that Councillor Andrews is totally wrong in using the term ill will directed at the mayor. There was a speaker who was speaking who's very well recognised in this town, highly regarded person, and I believe he was speaking the entire truth. So there's no need for Councillor Andrews to say he was speaking ill will. In fact, it's defamatory, I believe.
Correct. Test it in court. I also asked for the community...
Point of order. Am I being threatened by Councillor Andrews?
No.
Well, stop carrying on with this test it in court stuff, please.
Now it appears, according to some, that the mayor should only be reported for a code of conduct breach, and we hold any other action in abeyance until a possible breach of code of conduct is dealt with. Personally, I would like to get this over with tonight, and so we can move forward. And that's the reason why I have suggested that this motion go forward and be changed to as is, what is now up on the board. Well, almost up on the board.
Yes, sorry, there now.
And as I say, it is entirely consistent with when I asked the council, in open session to dismiss the deputy mayor over inappropriate behaviour. I do not stab anyone in the back. If I disagree with their actions, I will bring it into open debate and allow the council to make a decision. Thank you.
Can everybody read that it's been moved by Councillor Andrews that the council requires the mayor to apologise to the community and elected members for for his actions at the community meeting on the 10th of May 2016. Recommend to the Mayor to attend a Mayors and Chairpersons Forum organised by the LGA to be held on the 29th and 30th of July 2016, and advise the Mayor to seek additional paths of professional development, such as seeking out a mentor to help him with his leadership and sharing skills. Would somebody like to second that?
Councillor Chickwood, I was going to say, Your Worship, Deputy, I've got an alternative motion that I'd like to put up.
So that would be an amendment. Is it an amendment or?
It could be an amendment or an alternative motion. I think in relation to this one, the Mayor's already apologised, and the third point in terms of professional development to help with leadership and chairing skills, this motion, or the intent of this motion, hasn't got anything to do with his chairing skills at all. The concern that I've got is that I know that the council is being scrutinised very carefully, and any reason for people to shoot us down, they will. That we need to follow due process and the Local Government Act on all matters to a T, whether we're being scrutinised or not. Councillor Andrews referred to the meeting, which unfortunately I was overseas at the time, so I wasn't able to speak to that motion at that time. But the motion where the behaviour of, at that time, the Deputy Mayor was brought into question, and the council was asked to remove him as Deputy Mayor. Now, I would have said the same thing then as I'm saying now.
Point of order.
And that, hang on, this is a
Point of order.
Motion.
Point of order.
Councillor Marshall, would you please allow Councillor Jenkins to finish?
Well, Councillor Jenkins hasn't got a motion before.
I have got a motion before the floor, and I'm saying the reason for my motion.
Up there.
The Chamber requests that my motion is.
Point of order. Councillor Jenkins does not have a motion before the council.
You're not giving her the opportunity to present it.
Well, has she moved? Mr. Councillor Andrews has moved that way, so she can't put another motion.
Councillor Jenkins is trying to move an amendment to that motion.
No, she said she's got another motion altogether, an alternative
She
motion.
said it may be.
All right, can Councillor, in that case, can Councillor Andrews' motion be seconded, and then I'll put an alternate motion.
Thank you, Councillor Charles.
Thank you, Councillor Charles. So, given the reasons above, my alternative motion is that the Chamber requests a Code of Conduct investigation be carried out in line with the Local Government Act and the principles of natural justice relating to the Mayor's conduct at the community meeting held on the 10th of May. I think that any motion in relation to admonishing the Mayor, for want of a better word, should be preceded by a Code of Conduct investigation before there is any censure motion, because that is what the Local Government Act prescribes. We need to do things in the proper order as prescribed by the Local Government Act and according to natural justice. We need to follow proper procedure. I feel very strongly about this. With censuring the Mayor in this way, without firstly going through a Code of Conduct, we're playing into the hands of people who do say that we can't follow process or do things right. We as a council need to follow due process and need to follow the Code of Conduct provisions that are in the Local Government Act. Thank you.
Just let Gwen get that.
Madam Chair, point of order. We now have a separate motion. It's not an amendment, it's a separate motion on the floor when we already have a motion that hasn't been discussed and voted on. So
I believe that this second motion is clearly an amendment.
and how is it an amendment? How does it fit in with the motion to vote? Please explain that to me.
Because it's relating to investigating the things that have been put in the...
But it has no relevance at all because you've got a motion that says entirely different things.
Well, I think we are trying to do it in the correct process.
Well, I'd argue the correct process is not correct, but you're
That's
trying
in
to
your
impose.
opinion, Councillor.
Well, maybe you should read out, Madam Chair.
Okay, Councillor Charles.
May I suggest we vote on the first motion, which I've seconded, because I feel it's quite likely that it's going to be defeated, and then we can move on. Now, if it's not defeated, then obviously it's accepted by the majority.
I'd just like to say here that I believe I'm disappointed that these motions have been put up when the Mayor has taken the opportunity tonight to apologise to the community.
Point of order, Madam Chair. It's not for you to discuss this now. Thank you very much.
I am quite entitled to that.
You are supposed to be an unbiased chair, not express opinions.
Councillor Marshall, if you know so much about this, how did you not get elected Mayor of Mitcham when you put your...
What about our opinion? Another apology.
I would just like to say that I am disappointed. I was as disappointed as everyone when the Mayor left the community forum in such a manner. However, I am sure that we all do things at some time in our lives that perhaps we may feel sorry for and could have done better. The tune of the meeting was quite degrading to council and was presented in a manner that was quite aggressive. To Mayor Phil, I believe it was the straw that broke the camel's back. For many months, Mayor Phil, elected members and staff
come on,
have been
come on.
bombarded.
What's going on?
Sorry, I can't hear because the gallery are talking.
The gallery have already been asked if they would show some...
May I chip in here and say the Mayor apologised tonight, kicking and screaming. He had plenty of opportunity in the last 13 days.
Councillor Martin, Councillor Charles, I believe tonight was the first public opportunity he had. And you've got it on film, you've got it on record. What more do you want?
When I walked out of the meeting, I put a $960 ad in the Times newspaper explaining why I walked out of a meeting. It's very easy to do. 2 editions.
Point of order, can we get on with the meeting, please?
I will have to ask these elected members to leave if they don't let me. Staff have been bombarded with defamatory...
Point of order, Madam Chair. You have no right to read a public statement out. This is a matter where you're supposed to be an unbiased chair. Why don't you ask the CEO? He's our advisor. He's your advisor. You ask him.
I believe I have got the right.
Well, you
Point
haven't.
of order, could we adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes until tempers cease?
Can we get someone to chair the meeting?
And we can start to listen to what's happening?
Can I move that the motion be put? Is that something that I can do?
That's what
Can I move the motion be put?
Good, well done.
Beg pardon?
Can I move that the motion be put?
Yes, you can.
That's got to be put.
A motion to adjourn and a motion to be put are both formal motions under the meeting regulations, so you have to deal with the first formal motion first, which is the motion to adjourn.
Is somebody like to second that we adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes? Thank you, Councillor. All those in favour? Those against?
Defeated.
So, I will put the first motion. Move, sorry, up here.
Would you like me to withdraw my motion at this point and just deal with
It's just
the first one?
on the screen.
Sorry.
Makes it a little bit hard.
That's why I said you can't have 2 motions at once. This is
Oh,
the-
Councillor Marshall, will you please be quiet?
Why should I? I'm trying to say that you're not chairing this meeting properly, Councillor Chairman. You need to learn the act. You've got the CEO sitting next to you. Why didn't you ask him whether that second motion's an amendment or not? It shouldn't have even been accepted by you, the Chair.
I will put the first motion. Moved by Councillor Andrews, seconded by Councillor Charles. All those in favour? Those against? That motion has been lost.
Councillor Chickwood, can I withdraw my motion, please?
This is a bloody circus.
My alternative motion, I'd like to withdraw it. Thank you.
Okay, you don't want to move. So that motion has been lost.